We are going to stay in the world's weirdest hotels, like hotels with slide entrances, futuristic resorts with robot workers, crazy swimming pools, secret rooms, and some of the most unique places you can stay in. Starting with a hotel room that has an airplane next to your bed. Like this used to really be a fully functioning flying airplane. Even the inside is intact with a real cockpit and seats for passengers. The bedroom itself is super normal, actually really nice. But things really get crazy when you go inside the plane and see all the seats and a cabin just like on any normal airplane. This is cool. It's crazy to imagine at one point in time passengers were sitting in these very seats flying somewhere around the world. And this room definitely gives you plenty of storage for your bags. You can pull up the windows. You can practice to be a flight attendant. Anyone need snacks? Yeah, can I have some caviar? We don't have that. Then of course you can climb into the cockpit. Oh, this is so sick. You know, I've always wanted to fly a plane. I just didn't think it would be in a hotel room. I feel like this is every kid's dream. Attention passengers, please prepare for takeoff. It's not going anywhere. But there's still so much more to see if you just walk out the other side of the plane. Because you have this massive living room area with another TV, second couch, and around the corner, yet another room. I tried to use the coffee machine, but I might have broken it. Never mind, I guess it worked. When you check into the room, they give you this airplane themed lunchbox. And I guess inside are accessories for a projector, because you can just pull this down and there's a projector screen inside the airplane, so you can watch movies or TikTok. I always wanted to watch TikTok inside an airplane, inside a hotel room. Why is it so loud? It was actually super fun. I love this room. There's so many random hidden rooms. Like here's the first bathroom. This one's really small. Another bathroom. I will say their bathrooms aren't the best. At least there is one normal bathroom with a shower. This really might be the weirdest hotel room I've ever stayed in. What's funny is the rest of this hotel is just totally normal. All the other guests in the hotel have no idea what's above them. This one suite is just super special. But I think the most surprising thing about this hotel room is that it's only about $300 a night for what might be the largest hotel room I've ever stayed in. What do you think?
I think bro missed the runway, honestly.
But later I learned you can pre-order room service breakfast. Basically, you just fill out this form, choose what you want to order, and then hang it on your front door the night before.
Good morning, Amsterdam. Sam's still sleeping.
Someone from the hotel brought this feast to the room, but there was only one place that made sense to eat it.
Good morning. Would you like any breakfast on your flight?
I'm okay.
I have some chocolate croissants here, or cinnamon rolls, or maybe this loaf of bread. It's actually way softer than it sounds.
Oh.
Outside of the really weird bathroom situation, I've never been in a hotel where you get this much space all to yourself for just $300 a night. So it's totally worth it. But there are a lot of weird hotels we have to get to in this video. And next, I'm flying all the way to North Carolina to check out a strange Airbnb in the mountains. Actually, it turns out there's an entire neighborhood of weird Airbnbs up here. I feel like I've gone to weird hotel heaven. There's a lot for us to see here, but first, this is my hotel for the night. It might look like a normal tent to you, which is fair. It does look like a very normal tent, but for one night here, I paid $709. But trust me, I think it's going to be worth it. Because when you open up this tent, you'll find a slide. And if you ride it, it'll take you down to your really large Airbnb. It's way bigger than it looks on the outside. Time for the tour. So right when you get off of the slide, there's your bed.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
Looks very comfortable. But there's also a couch. There's a fuzzy chair. There is a TV. And you even get a fridge and a microwave. Many owls and Harry Potter glasses. How do I look? And the host has given us a bowl of free snacks. But there's still way more because outside you get a cliffside campsite. You have like a whole patio, a fire pit with outdoor seating, and this entire other tent. I don't even know what's in that tent. It could be literally anything. There's only one way to find out. It's like a little game room. Here there's like a really tiny bench, fuzzy chairs, a baby globe, Connect 4, and just in case you didn't have enough nature already, a fake tree. Driving down here, I passed so many crazy looking tree houses and Airbnbs that honestly I didn't know existed. So I kind of want to go for a walk and explore the neighborhood. One, I literally didn't know any of these Airbnbs existed when I booked this place. So right now I know as much about them as you guys do. So future Drew in the voiceover is going to give you all the information about them. Anyways, let's explore a neighborhood of weird Airbnbs. You guys fell over and that literally just cracked my phone. Whoops. This thing, it looks like a spaceship. Honestly, maybe the coolest looking Airbnb I've ever seen. I kind of regret not booking this because it's basically a supervillain secret lair. Like, look at this bedroom. And it only costs $598 a night. Wow, that's amazing. This is a castle house. One day when I get a house, I want it to look like this, but I also want a water slide too. And a swimming pool. and a trampoline. Important things. But I had to get back to my tent before dark because apparently bears are really common in this area. Like they just stroll through town. So I'm not taking any chances. That never gets old. So it's getting kind of late, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm tired out. So my plan is simple. It's time to get snacks in and then relax in. Let's do it. That would definitely stop a bear. The door's locked. So far, no bears. Good morning, blah. It's like 6:50 in the morning, and it's almost time to leave this place. But there's a few things we need to do first. I made coffee and found the tent's guest book. I've honestly never stayed in an Airbnb with such a cool entrance, not to mention the incredible view from the mountains. So I don't know what weird hotel could beat this one. I'm giving it a 9.5, and I'm gonna miss my tent, but it's time we go meet back up with Sam in Florida. This is the electronic ice castle. It looks like a normal house on the outside, but apparently it's actually the world's weirdest mansion. And that's because one night can cost over $1,000. It's expensive, and you're about to see why. And it turns out this house would blow away all our expectations. The first thing you see when you walk in is a massive indoor arcade. It has a giant Transformers robot, air hockey, racing games, and basketball. I guess Sam didn't have the best luck. So I had to take a turn, but it's no competition, really. What can I say? Across the hall from the arcade is the first bedroom, and if you can't tell, it's ghost themed. Basically, every room in this house was designed around a different movie. This first room's mostly normal, except there's giant Ghostbuster ghosts on the wall, and slime dripping down from the ceiling. We're 2 rooms in, and this house is already insane. And up next is the ET room. It makes you feel like you're in nature, and there's a life-size ET on the wall. The design of the room and all the plants makes it feel like you're outside. If I slept in this room, I think I'd be afraid ET would just start talking to me in the middle of the night. And that was all just the entryway, because next you can walk through to the living room. This is easily the largest Airbnb I've ever booked for a video. The listing says this house can sleep 20 people, and I definitely can see that. There's still a lot more bedrooms for us to explore, and it feels like just the kitchen and the dining room alone, there's enough space for like an entire school. Up next is the Back to the Future room, which is complete with a time machine. To be honest, I haven't actually seen Back to the Future, but this room makes me think I should. But everything really starts getting exciting when you go up the stairs. Because right when you get upstairs, you can walk down this hall to the second arcade. This is more like a retro arcade, and it looks mostly normal, but one of these arcade machines has a pretty big secret. Sadly, I'm bad at all of them. Bro, these games are hard. But the best part of the arcade is behind this machine here. Because if you pull it out, you'll reveal a secret room filled with capsule hotels and a flat screen TV. As a kid, this would have been like my dream room. I love capsule hotels because they're kind of like bunk beds, but you still get privacy. Plus, the capsule hotels here even give you your own TV. And these are pretty advanced. You can grab a remote and turn on your favorite streaming service or YouTube. There's like a clock, there's a mirror. Would you sleep in one of these?
Yeah, this looks like really roomy.
And there are 4 of these, so this house really can sleep a lot of people. Plus, this room has a real-life Tron bike you can ride. Kind of. But there's actually still more to the arcade, because if you walk through that door, you'll see the house has its own private movie theater with a PlayStation and an Xbox and tons of super luxurious seats. This is probably my favorite room in the house. It looks super futuristic in here. You can just recline your chair, play video games.
This is so nice.
Oh, I love this house. Of course, I had to try gaming on a movie screen for the first time. I just didn't play very well. But there are still more bedrooms we need to explore. I don't even remember which number we're on. There's so many bedrooms in this house. But this room is entirely baseball themed. Instead of a carpet, there's fake grass. It's kind of fun to walk on. The walls were designed to make you feel like you're outside. There's a bench and baseballs all around the bed. And a larger than life-size Hercules the dog. If you're bored, you can even open the fence and hang out with him. This dog is literally bigger than me. Our next somewhat normal room is Home Alone themed. Did I say Home Alone? But in this room, it's Christmas every day, as they've perfectly recreated the bedroom from the movie. This is like the comfiest bed I've ever been on. But this next one might be the craziest bedroom I've ever seen in a house. You enter an ice-themed Frozen room with bunk beds and life-size Frozen character statues.
This is my favorite room of this whole house. Look at this snowflake.
And it's designed to look just like real snow and ice on the walls.
It's cool in here. I feel like this room would give you the best night's sleep.
These beds kind of feel like capsule hotel beds if they were just in an ice cave.
Not bad.
You want to know what else is really cool?
There's a ball pit between the beds. Definitely never been in any Airbnb with a ball pit before.
I think I'm stuck.
I'm leaving you.
No, help!
You know what's crazy?
What?
We finish each other's.
Sentences? And this is the last bedroom. It's like just girl themed.
Better view. Whoa. Okay, way bouncier than I expected.
So one night in this house costs just over $1,000, which actually is not bad when you think of how many people could sleep here. But will the electronic ice castle win George? Give it like a 8 out of 10. But now let's move on because there are a lot more crazy hotels for us to get to, and our next one's in New York City. This is the Jane Hotel, which opened over 100 years ago. Originally, it was built as a hotel for sailors, and back then, one night would cost just about 25 cents. So prices have really changed over time. I paid about $200 for one night here, so let's go find our room. I wasn't really sure what to expect from a hotel so old, and I started getting a little nervous.
Very dark in here.
The moment the elevator door opens, it feels like you're walking right into a scary movie. I'm gonna be honest, this is the scariest hotel hallway I've ever seen. I don't think it's changed at all since it opened over 100 years ago. And I honestly couldn't believe what I saw when I opened the door. Come check this out. The entire room is the size of a closet. This is all you get. It's so small that I could touch both walls at the same time. I'm short, I've never been able to say that before. So there's your bed. It's a twin bed. Maybe the bed itself is 100 years old. I mean, it is kind of cozy. You get an old alarm clock radio and a window so you have some connection to the outside world. You get an old phone to call the front desk in case you have any questions. I don't think it's for room service. I don't think they have room service here. You do get some storage, bottom drawer with a safe, and a top drawer for your stuff. You get a really long mirror. What's up? Not much. Maybe you would call this the living room. It's the floor. This is all the walking area you have. Again, this hotel was originally built for sailors back in the 1900s, so I think they kind of designed the rooms to feel like you're in a ship cabin. It isn't the most modern TV, but it works. Behind the bed, you have a lamp. You can turn it on and off with this knob. Oh, whoops, the lamp might be old too. So you might notice that they give you towels, but obviously there's no bathroom in this room. There's barely anything in this room. And that's because, of course, you have to share your bathroom. So I went out, back into the scary halls, and found the bathroom. There's 2 toilets, 2 showers, and 2 sinks. I don't really mind this room or the fact that you have to share a bathroom. I honestly think this room is pretty cozy. I could sleep well in here. What I have a problem with is that this room cost me $200 per night. It's overpriced, man. So maybe the Jane Hotel makes you share a shower, but back in Amsterdam, there's one hotel that is even worse. This is our next hotel. It's called the Fletcher Hotel, and for about 150 euros a night, you can stay in a hotel room with a really weird bathroom situation. It's gone viral for having a shower in the middle of the hotel room with 0 privacy. I couldn't believe it, and I just wanted to know how bad it could actually be. And it turns out, it's pretty bad. This is definitely not a hotel room you can share with friends.
Yeah, I know.
There's literally no privacy at all.
Turn it on.
Right now? If you don't close the blinds, anyone from outside could literally see you showering. This feels wrong. It kind of feels like you're inside a soda can, but otherwise it's just a normal shower. How would you rate this bed?
It's like a good 6 out of 10. Oh, that's a 10 out of 10 pillow.
I guess they do brag about their pillows. You can buy one for 25 euros. Of course, the room comes with a TV. There's a little table by the window, coffee maker, and this extremely tall plant. What type of plant even is this? Between the giant alien plant, shower in the middle of the room, and whatever this masterpiece work of art is above the bed, whoever designed this room really had some interesting ideas. On TikTok, a lot of people wanted to know, where's the toilet? Imagine if the toilet was the same way. No, the toilet's actually in here. There is a real door. But before going to bed and moving on to our next hotel, we stumbled on the coolest museum of all time. It's a complete recreation of SpongeBob's town of Bikini Bottom. I've always wanted to come here. We're about to find out because someone literally built a perfect recreation of SpongeBob's house, including the details of his living room. SpongeBob's there, just staring at you. You can sit next to Gary in SpongeBob's chair. It's just not very comfortable. And then across the hall is the Krusty Krab, with Squidward not looking too happy.
The older you get, the more relatable Squidward becomes. No, SpongeBob.
Squidward really hates his job.
You and him don't have that in common.
His head is massive.
You and him have that in common.
Inside, you can sit at the tables and pretend to eat Krabby Patties. Doesn't taste good. Of course, you can pretend to do SpongeBob's job behind Squidward. There's even a Krabby Patty vault, just like the show. It's actually comfy. But that's all still just the beginning of what they've built. You can go jellyfish catching with Patrick, but it's way harder than it looks on TV.
You almost got it!
Squidward's house. They've built a perfect replica of it, and if you walk inside, you'll see an entire museum of his artwork. They've collected hundreds of his masterpieces for you to look at and admire. Very impressive work. You can tell the artist really took his time with this one. It's quite a masterpiece. Some have scored towards more abstract work. You know, life always isn't as exciting as it seems.
Oh, brother, this guy sucks.
If you're curious, this is how I pack when I go to film videos. One massive backpack.
Look at you.
It's like twice my weight. But I think I'd give the Fletcher Hotel like a 7. So I'm ready for an upgrade back in Orlando at the Aventura Hotel. This hotel is all about being futuristic. And it's also insanely windy. It is really windy today. But anyways, I came here because you can find one thing that isn't at any other hotel in Florida. But first, we have to go find our room. I paid just over 160 bucks for one night here. So here's our room. The main feature of the room is that you control everything with this iPad. You can change the lighting, you can control the temperature. Here's your TV, playing a loop of Universal Studios commercials. You can even watch the roller coasters go by from your window. Super nice bathroom. And the bed, ooh. I like this bed. There's just one real reason I came here. If you pick up the phone in the room, you can just call the front desk and ask for something crazy. Could I have a relay send up some towels? Because there's a robot that works for this hotel that can deliver you anything.
Of course, this should be up in about 20 minutes or less.
Awesome, thanks so much. And after just a few moments, there he was. He just stops at your door, makes a sound, and opens his lid so you can take whatever you ordered. Then he's done his job and can turn around to go back to the elevator. Come on, buddy. Figured I'd just take the elevator with him after you. I guess there's a system for him to call the elevator just by himself. And then when the doors open, he knows to just roll inside. Oh, that sounded like it hurt. You know, Relay doesn't talk too much for a robot, but he gets the job done. It's actually kind of impressive how fast he can move. Back to work. And just like that, he'll go back to the front desk to move on to his next delivery. But before tomorrow's hotel, let's go meet a robot worker that's a little more talkative. So this place is famous because apparently it has a robot waiter with the most personality in the world.
I have to work. Otherwise, I'll be fired.
And right when you walk in, you'll see it. Apparently it costs $16,000 for a restaurant to buy one. That's our waiter, Peanut.
She's cute.
Go, go, go. Oh, Peanut is looking for work to start. A wonderful journey together with you.
Takes us to our seats.
I was expecting her to just start moving like that.
See, Peanut's job is to drop us off at our table and then go back to work.
We are.
Thank you, Peanut. Unless you block its way.
Get out of the way, please. Otherwise, I will pick up and wait.
Sorry.
Did it just yell at you?
A robot's never yelled at me before. But here you just get your soup, pick out your favorite ingredients, toss them in the pot to start cooking, and then enjoy your food. That is good and spicy. We had such a good time eating here, and you'll even see Peanut drive by your table every now and then doing its job. Hey, Peanut.
She remembers you from being in her way earlier.
But after your main course, this totally different robot will bring you ice cream. Bye.
That is so cute. Can we come here every day?
How would you rate you and me, the robot restaurant?
Experience-wise, 10 out of 10. The food was like 8 out of 10.
But it's time we go to our next hotel.
Where?
Well, it's actually not too far, but it looks a little strange because... Did you know you can buy an entire house on Amazon? Like, there's this one on Amazon that's $39,000. Well, that's exactly what this is. Kind of. This one's not on Amazon, but they do build it in a warehouse, put it on a truck, and then drop it off at your property, making this Florida's first 3D printed tiny home. And you can literally buy one for $35,000. But of course, I just booked one night for about 150 bucks.
It has like a toilet and everything though, right?
We're about to find out. Let's go inside. I've actually never stayed in a tiny home before, and this one is extra tiny. First thing when you walk in, there's like a baby desk and a microwave. Also, there's this little button. It just looks like a sticker, but if you press it, it turns the lights on and off. Little coffee maker, coffee supplies, fruit snacks.
Can I have it?
Plenty of seasoning if you want to cook. There's no place to cook. There's just a microwave. And popcorn.
Imagine how stressful it would be if you burnt it in this small little house.
And then right past the desk is your bed.
It's like really cozy. There's a toilet in the same room as the shower, so you could...
No way.
Yes!
Turns out she's right. The shower is right next to the toilet. The bathroom is basically the size of a closet. Probably the smallest Airbnb bathroom I've ever seen. But considering it's a 3D printed home, what do you expect? We just relaxed for a while and played around with the TV. This is the control panel at the front of the house. With this, you can turn off the lights, or if you need privacy, close the blinds. The more time I spend in here, the more I feel like it's actually pretty nice. Even though you have a roof and air conditioning, it still kind of feels like you're camping because you can just see nature all around you. 3D printed tiny house, a really cool concept. And we actually had a really good time here. Maybe it's the future of homes. Maybe the next step is a 3D printed mansion. And there are probably so many cool locations around the world you could put homes like these. But I don't think tiny house is gonna win George. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. But since we're in Florida, there's one place I had to take Sam. One of the weirdest restaurants on the planet in Disney World.
You kind of look like him.
We came here to try a restaurant called Space 220, which apparently lets you eat in outer space.
If you come here for lunch, do you say it's launch time?
That joke really took off. So the first place you go in the restaurant is to this like space station waiting area. Here they give you a boarding pass and then you walk into a space elevator. It's basically a mini ride that takes you right up to the restaurant. And then just after a few minutes, we've arrived. Up here they have a space farm. Yeah, this is definitely not your normal dining experience. Already this is like the coolest restaurant I've ever been to.
Have y'all been in space before?
No, it's our first time in space.
We are 220 miles above Epcot, so you travel pretty far to get here.
The host brings you to the dining area with the craziest view you'll ever see. Because there are massive floor-to-ceiling screens, or windows showing Earth.
This is super cool. Like some space water really
Space water would be great, thank you.
Immediately it was clear this restaurant was special. Like you can watch spaceships fly by while you're waiting for your food. We both got the space steak with space potatoes.
I'm excited.
It was good, but I've had better down on Earth. But then they served me a literal planet for dessert. And this was tasty.
That's good.
But now let's take the elevator back down to Earth and to our next hotel, which is also futuristic, and it's back in New York City. We are staying at the YOTEL, which tries to do things very differently from the standard hotel. Because first there's a bag storage robot working in the lobby. You just activate it on this iPad, drop off your bag, and watch it get to work. It's pretty fun to watch. But I paid over $700 to spend one night here, so I'm really hoping the room is just as advanced. Immediately, this feels like one of the larger hotel rooms I've ever been in. It kind of looks more like an apartment than a hotel room. So first, there's the living room, the large couch, and floor-to-ceiling windows all around. There's a purple rug, purple pillows, this random purple thing under the TV, purple bench, random artwork, and the living room even has a workout bike with a view of New York City. That is something I've never seen in a hotel room before. Past the bike is the bedroom, and here you get a circular bed with futuristic purple lighting, and you have a bedroom TV. Down the hall from the bedroom is your bathroom. Honestly, I was not expecting how large this hotel room is. Because we're staying in a futuristic hotel concept, for dinner, I figured we'd try a futuristic restaurant. But first, let's explore the hotel. First, there's like the YOTEL shop and bar. There's a large empty area with these things. I don't know what they're supposed to be. It's actually really terrifying. Like, what is that? But before dinner, I had to visit one of my favorite hotel chains in the world. It's called the Henna Hotel, which literally means weird hotel in Japanese. I've been to a few of them in Japan, and for some reason, they love to use robot workers too. And this one here has one of the most realistic robot T-Rexes I've ever seen. Because the second you walk into the lobby, just turn to your right and you might be terrified. This thing is huge, moves non-stop, and sounds just like a real dinosaur. It's easy to forget it's a robot. It's not as cool as the Japanese robots that'll help you check into your room. It won't help you check into your room or take your bags, but it's still something you won't find in any other hotel. But we're not staying here because sadly the rooms are just totally normal. Whereas our next hotel is very not normal. But first, it's dinner time. At this restaurant, you can enjoy a nice dinner without talking to a single person. First, you just order your food on the iPad, and then bring your receipt to one of these private eating areas. So the idea is pretty simple. They take the receipt, prepare your ramen, then they open this curtain and give you your food. It's pretty cool and kind of sad too. And just like that, you're alone again with your thoughts and your food. This actually looks so good. It's a little weird being all alone and like a little cubby. It's also kind of nice. No one's looking at you. You can just enjoy good ramen. But now I'm full and tired.
It's been fun.
I have a lot of plans for the morning. First, we sleep. Good night.
Good morning.
Turns out when you look out the window in New York City, you see a lot. Well, I guess they never called New York City boring. But before we go to our next hotel, there's just one more thing I had to try. Turns out there was no way for me to actually plug the Peloton in, but I still had a solid workout. Well, that's enough of that. Time to head to our next hotel. We're going back in time to an ancient hotel in one of America's oldest cities. This is the Liberty Hotel. It was actually built in 1855 originally as a prison, until recently when it's been converted into a luxury hotel. For one night, I paid just under $400, so I don't really know what to expect, but let's go check in. When you first walk in, you can definitely see it used to be a prison. You even have to walk by jail cell bars on the way to your room. which turned out to be surprisingly nice. First, of course, there's your bed. Pretty big. You get an old bench from the original jail, complete with keys from the original jail. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess these are like jail-themed pillows. You even get an old wooden desk. The only thing that kind of irks me is that they're selling water bottles in the room for $12 each. You could go to the grocery store and buy like 32 packs of water for less than that. So instead, there's something else nearby I had to see. Nearby, there's this building that was built in the 1700s. It's one of the oldest buildings in America, and it used to house an old bookstore, but now it's a Chipotle. It's both depressing and kind of hilarious. But anyways, it was getting late, and I had to head back to my jail cell room, because in the morning, I got to eat at the Clink. It's a restaurant where you get to eat right next to the old, real prison cells. It was weird, but at least the coffee was good. But now we're going back to New York, again, to stay at an airport hotel. This hotel was literally designed to make you feel like you're time traveling back to 1962. Originally, this was actually built as an airport, and it's been preserved extremely well over the years. Back then, a hotel room cost just $15 per night. So let's head inside and see what hotels in the 60s were like. I'm just checking in. And to get to your room, you just have to go down this super long red tunnel. It's just long and empty. Then just try not to miss the elevator. For my one night stay here, I paid just under $400. So let's see what we get. Welcome to the 1960s. There's just a few things we have to do. Now that's more like it. Let's do a room tour. First thing you see when you walk in is the desk. They even give you a real magazine from the 1960s. Instead of having a trash can in the bedroom, they just have this little area on the desk. It's a little weird. There's this large cup of pencils they give you. That's new. I haven't seen that in a hotel before. Then of course there's your bed and TV. Oh yeah. Don't worry, no shoes on the bed. Also inaccurate but useful, there's a wireless charger next to the bed. Those definitely didn't exist in the 60s. There's this cool vintage chair and this really old phone. Hello? That sound is so satisfying. But by far the best part of the hotel room is the view. For a little bit extra per night, you can have a view of the airport runway. And don't worry, they built this hotel with the sound in mind. They have extra thick windows and walls, so you can't hear the planes taking off and landing all the time. There's a lot we have to do. But first, this hotel is huge. So let's go explore it. First off, I've never been in a hotel where every detail makes you feel like you're back in time. Right when you walk into the airport, you see this massive departure board telling you all the flights that are coming and going from New York. This uses real physical letters that move by themselves. That is so cool. Next to the departure board is the food hall where you can come any time of day and eat. Very important part of the hotel. Apparently the hotel has a bunch of real cars from the 60s. They have an old Lincoln that could cost over $90,000 today, a microbus that would cost around $70K, and this red Fiat that has literally sold for over $100,000. Oh yeah. But that's just the beginning of this hotel because there's also a twister room. Why does this room exist? Walking in this room made me feel like I was in a dream. There's even a replica of a 1960s hair salon. I tried to see if their machine still worked, but I don't have enough hair for this. And there's a perfect replica of the CEO's office from back in the day. Yes, bring me my lunch. Yes, fire 100 employees. Yes, acquire a small country. This is kind of fun. This also might be the only hotel on earth that still has phone booths. To be honest, I don't even know how to use these. But then I discovered an event was going on in the main lobby. There's even a wedding. Kind of feel like I shouldn't be here. So instead, I decided to explore the hotel's TWA shop, selling $75 construction hats, $80 sneakers, and one of the most overpriced things I've ever seen. Is this clock $700?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Apparently it's supposed to be, I'm supposed to try to sell it to you.
Oh, okay. Has anyone bought one?
Yeah.
Really?
Actually sold out.
No way.
Yeah, I swear.
People like them.
People love it when they get it.
That's a lot of money for a
Push
clock.
anybody to get it.
No, I'm with you. That's
Right?
crazy. There was no way I was buying that. So instead, I decided to check out the hotel's real plane preserved from the 1960s. Apparently, the airplane's name is Connie. Why it has a name, I couldn't tell you. It really puts into perspective how big planes are when you stand next to the blade. Just the blade is like twice my height. Apparently, Connie was built in 1939 and actually was used as Air Force One for the president in the 1950s. But now it's just a museum and a lounge for the hotel. The cockpit's still in good shape, although it doesn't work. But other than not being able to fly, Connie is exactly how she was back in the 1960s. Honestly, the seats were more comfortable back then. I could sleep in this chair. I don't even need my hotel room. And we're back in the room. I gotta say, as someone who loves to travel, this room has like my dream view. I have a view of some of the largest airplanes in the world. Those two planes are literally among the largest airplanes on the planet. And for context, those are your normal airplanes that'll fly across America, but these planes take you around the world. So I'm really looking forward to just sitting on my bed and watching the planes fly tonight. I took a little nap, watched some basketball and airplanes. Life is good. It's getting late, I'm kind of tired, but I haven't eaten yet. And I think there's only one option in this hotel. It's called the Paris Cafe. And my only concern is the reviews online just are not great at all. It has like 3.5 stars. And that's because one person said this is the worst restaurant they ever dined at. And another person said this is the worst dinner they ever had. And these are real reviews. But I have to eat, so wish me luck. What's the table for one if possible? They brought me to my table and I looked at the menu, choosing very carefully. I settled on the beef tenderloin, which I couldn't find any bad reviews for. Looks fine to me. The beef tenderloin was actually really good. Everything else on the plate was not. Also at night, I guess this lounge area starts glowing red. This hotel is so cool. Back to the room.
Good night. Good morning. Good morning, vlog.
It's time to start our morning routine. Apparently back in the 1960s, people would listen to the radio and go shopping in a catalog in the morning. So I guess books like these were Amazon way before Amazon ever existed. Let's see what we can buy. Okay, it looks like this page is selling Halloween costumes, and they're pretty cheap. Oh, I would totally be this robot. That looks sick. I mean, far out. There's a $6 rocking chair. There's like a huge tent for less than $100. All sorts of boats you can buy. Bikes are about 50 bucks. And that's when I found something kind of disturbing. They used to sell pets in here. Look at this. Why wait? Enjoy a pet now. Monkeys. Spider monkey, $50. Baby alligator. Harmless when small, $4. This is so wrong. I can't believe they used to do this. They also sell puppies, like every single breed. They would send these in the mail? That catalog's from 1958. How would they feel okay about themselves sending a monkey in the mail? How would it survive? Let's get breakfast. I just explored around the hotel and found a pool on the rooftop. That's crazy. It's definitely not the best weather for swimming. It's cold and super windy. The view isn't tropical waves or palm trees, but it is very unique. Only here can you watch planes take off and land while you're swimming. But now it's our turn to take off to go stay on one of the world's weirdest hotels on a farm. One night here only costs about $150, but it's definitely not your normal Airbnb. Welcome to the Mancave. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere in Florida for this Airbnb. We're on this property called Danville, and it's called Danville because it was created by this guy, Dan. I got to talk to him for a little bit before checking in, and he told me this is his creation.
Art is making creations, and that's what I do. All right, Drew.
But this is my home for the night, so let's check it out. First, when you walk in, there's a bookshelf filled with manly things like boats, alligators, race cars, and Jar Jar Binks. And as you walk into the living room, it just gets better and better. There's a cool bar filled with random knickknacks, lots of airplanes, an old Lightning McQueen toy. I love this place. How am I feeling, you might ask? I feel like I'm in heaven. There's just cool manly stuff everywhere in here. Next, there's the couch. It is an old couch. The couches were just made better back then. I don't know what else to say. And behind the couch is this map of everyone who has come and stayed in this Airbnb. And it's clear people have come from all over the world to stay here. Here's the kitchen. Across from the couch is your TV, a massage chair. There's a button on this remote that says 0G. What's the worst that could happen? Oh yeah. This reminds me that if you look up, there are literally motorcycles, airplanes, and bolts just hanging from the ceiling. There's all sorts of old CDs and VHS tapes. The bed is just up these stairs. It's pretty simple up here. You get your bed, but there's also an old pilot's helmet and randomly a bowling pin, plus an entire canoe. Oh, I love it here. Just by itself, this Airbnb is incredible, but that's just the beginning of what Danville is. Apparently Dan created a whole city here on this property. So before tonight, I think it's time we go explore and see what else there is. Just a few steps outside the man cave, and you're at a farm with all sorts of animals. There's an alpaca, tired roosters. Did you just wake up? I don't think he likes me. And there are plenty of goats. What's up, dude? I spent some time hanging out with them, and Dan himself introduced me to the newest residents of Danville.
Babies! Come on, babies!
Oh, wow. They're so small.
Come on.
Oh,
That's a baby goat. Oh. You know.
Oh. Dan told me these babies are only 1 week old.
What? Yeah?
Already climbing. You have a very cool life, Dan.
I'm very fortunate. He doesn't have any, maybe Boots.
Hey, Boots.
So they don't get very big. The babies are just cute as hell.
But as we were leaving, Boots slipped and fell.
Oh, that wasn't very good.
Oh, buddy.
Boy, you need to practice that. Yeah.
But then Dan showed me some of the cars he's working on.
The seats were pink and white. There was only 20,000 of them built ever.
Dan even gave me a golf cart to explore the property.
I'm Dan, this is Drew.
Drew, nice to meet
Drew.
Hey.
Where are you guys from? We're going down to the inn to open the door. Do you want to come and watch?
He's talking about this building on his property that apparently has a really cool front door.
Okay, just follow us down.
Dan just had to go inside, push a button, and the entire front porch opened up. Wow.
You a married couple?
No.
We do weddings here.
But the inside is incredible with tons of little storefronts.
I built it as a guest house.
How much time did this all take you to build?
About a little over 2 years. I built it all. I mean, I had a couple young guys help me. This is all common area for Airbnb.
Danny even built this fully operational bar inside.
What I tried to do was give you as many experiences as you could get. Like you got baby goats. We just came from the baby goats, holding baby goats.
Cool.
I get some negative people. Like I've had people come to the treehouse and I try to tell them it's glamping, but I don't know that they know what glamping is. Yeah. Air conditioning and a toilet.
Yes.
That's glamping.
So originally this was an aircraft hangar?
It is an airplane hangar. Wow. It's an airplane. Those projects, when I would do these things, it would be 10 hours a day, nonstop. Never sit down, never do anything, just do what you gotta do.
Thanks again for the tour and showing me around, Dan. And just like that, I was alone with one mission. Let's go see what else there is. So there are a lot of Airbnbs here on Danville, like the Zen Den. Here there's a yurt. But here there's like a concert stage. There's just so much detail behind everything. Tons of retro buses. And I even found Dan's next project. It's like a crashed airplane site. Where do you even get an airplane like this? But for now, it's still under construction. How does Dan even find all this cool stuff? And we're back. You know, this is the type of place a lot of people would just dream of doing for themselves one day. Like just getting a big plot of land and building whatever you want based on your passions. So it's really cool to see it be real. One thing I've heard Dan say a lot since I've been here is that he's not trying to make a hotel.
I am not a resort, and I'm glamping. So you have to understand, you are one level above a tent.
Right. He's trying to create an experience where you go to a farm, you meet a ton of cool people, you explore, and you have a great time. If you spend a night at Danville, you'll remember it for your entire life. I'm sure I will. There's no room service here, but Dan and everyone I've met have been so nice and kind. Of all the weird hotels I've been to, this has been one of my favorite experiences. So I'm giving Danville a 10 out of 10. And so with that, we have a winner. Only one place deserves George, and even though I had so much fun filming this video, there is one experience that really stood out that I will never forget. Thanks guys for watching. If you had fun, subscribe and maybe watch another video.